What's up, guys? Today we are talking about Laiatu Latu out of UCLA, drafted 15th overall by the Indianapolis Colts. All right, and this is a series where I'm going to be talking about rookie players throughout the season, right? So we will probably check in a couple times on Latu Latu throughout the year, and then at the very end of the year, I'll probably do a video where we break down where he was, how it looked, and all those things. So really excited for this series because we're gonna do a deep dive on how these rookies do. I want to have examples and different check marks of where they're at, what the excitement level is, where the expectation level is, and that's what this is, right? So right now, right after week 3, good time to look at Laiatu Latu because he is a stud. And week 3 was his coming out party, if you will. All right, let's start there. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. So in week 3, Laiatu Latu had an 85.1 PFF grade, which was 4th among all edge rushers, which is awesome. 5 pressures, 1 sack, 21.4% pass rush win rate, and 1 forced fumble in one game. If those stats were across 3 games, I would be incredibly excited for what Laiatu Latu is doing. That was one game. Yes, it was against the Bears, and the Bears' offensive line kind of sucks. But let's not get hung up on that, because guess what? You want really good players to dominate less good players. So hey, he dominated a less good players, and whoever he was facing on the Bears offensive line doesn't matter. They have been terrible this year, but this is another guy taking advantage of a bad matchup for the Chicago Bears, right? So let's get right back into this. Let's look at, I do want to look at PFF rankings, and I don't think I'm allowed to put this on the screen. I don't know, so I'm not going to do it just in case. But as far as among rookies throughout the first 3 weeks, he is only behind Jared Verse as far as PFF ranking, and Jared Verse is ranked 22nd. Latu is ranked 25th. All right, doing really well. And look, I am definitely one who, I know this about myself, I tend to get hyperbolic after big performances, especially with rookies, right? You want to take one game and just extrapolate it onto the rest of the season. That's not realistic. So again, with this series, we're going to take snapshots. We're looking at all 3 weeks. Week 1, 1 pressure. That was it. 1 pressure, 1 hurry, 1 missed tackle, but that was it. Wasn't a great game for him. Didn't play great. Week 2, not much on the stat sheet at all, other than a tackle and a missed tackle. So yeah, week 2, week 1, not great. I get that, but week 3 is really where he turned it on. I do want to look at where he was drafted, the guys that were drafted around him, and again, I understand that in 5 years, doesn't really matter, but it is interesting. It's something that we talk about and during leading up to the draft process so much, and then after the draft happens, unless it's the quarterback position, nobody really cares where they were drafted or what happened. So I find it interesting. So we're gonna do it. Feel free to log off now. Log off, like whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. So obviously Latu was the first defensive player that was drafted, which is crazy. 15th overall as the first defensive player. Wasn't widely considered a great defensive draft class. So there are questions about these guys, right? None of these guys were considered, they were talked about in the top 10, but none of them clearly were considered top 10 locks. Now it helps to have five quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers, and 4 offensive linemen go ahead of you, but I mean, still, 4 or 5 offensive linemen? No, it was 4. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He is drafted in a clump with Byron Murphy going to Seattle, Dallas Turner. Vikings trade up with Jacksonville to grab Dallas Turner, who a lot of people were arguing whether it was Dallas Turner or Latu would be the first pick. And then, if you remember, early on in the draft process, Jared Verse was kind of in that conversation, but I think Jared Verse kind of slipped a little bit throughout the draft talk conversation. I think we kind of realized that the NFL really had Dallas and Latu as the 1 and 2 defensive ends. I think it depended on the team who would be number 1. So far, Latu is definitely 3 games in, still really early. He's performed better than Dallas Turner, but Turner hasn't had the opportunity to go against the Chicago Bears defense line. So who knows? I do find it interesting just to look at that of like the three guys that were picked. We'll see what the right decision would have been for the Colts. But right now we're seeing a guy who is doing exactly what you would want the first defensive player in the draft to do. Bad team, bad offensive line, dominate. And that's exactly what he did. He dominated.